See, the time is 6 p.m. We want to welcome you to tonight's city council meeting. We've got quite a crowd here. Always great to see that and be amongst great company. We'll start off with calling the roll. If you would do that, please, Aubriana.
Bates.
Here.
Mangum.
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Paulson.
Here.
Satterfield.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Dahlquist.
Here. At this time, if you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. After the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd ask you to please remain standing as Pastor Dan Reinhold, representing University Bible Church, will give us the invocation. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let me pray. Lord, as we gather, I think of these words in 2 Samuel 23, as it describes good civic leadership this way. When one rules justly over men, ruling in the fear of God, he dawns on them like the morning light, like the sun shining forth on a cloudless morning, like rain that makes grass to sprout from the earth. Although that was David describing the role of a king, we think of the application there to good civic leadership, exercising their role with justice and the benefit that is to the community. And so we pray for those that are leading here. We pray also for those that are joining and participating. We're grateful to live in a place where we can do that. We pray that there be good, wise decisions that result from tonight. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Agenda item number 3 is the consent agenda. The following business items may be approved by one motion and a vote. If any one member of the council so desires, any matter listed can be moved to a separate agenda item. A, material claims. Council may wish to approve the material claims for the period of June 1 to 15, 2026. Item B is the treasurer's report, but at this time we'll have a pause in the action and our CFO, Rich, will give us a short treasurer's report.
Okay. I was kind of hoping you guys had had enough this morning, but cross your fingers. See, look at that.
All right, we have
I may be
slides.
old, but I'm still learning new tricks. Let's see. I want to, and I will probably always emphasize this properly branded PowerPoint is not the treasurer's report. This is the treasurer's report. So when you receive this, this is how we say that we have met the qualifications of Idaho Code 50-208. You have your receipts in the green, your disbursements in the red, and the ending balance, and that's what's required. So what I'm going to show you is a few highlights, and as we go through this in the next few months, we can add highlights, drop highlights, discuss things that you want to be. This is just a placeholder. Sorry. So cash receipts and disbursements. As of April 2026, we began that month with $118 million. We receipted $11.8 million. We dispersed about $13.6 million. We ended with $116 million. So the net change was 1.7. That is not an unusual month for where we're at. You'll see, and I'll be really excited to show you in August how that changes when we get our January and our July property tax. Okay, this is just highlights of the operating or the internal service funds. The sheet has every single fund that the city utilizes in its system, but these are the real operating ones, and it just shows whether it is a negative or a positive. You can see the general fund actually was a driver in, and a lot of what we've done, and it was 1.1 net negative, but also that WPC, it was a positive 500K. So they've added that to their revenue base. This is just, I showed this to you, or I talked about this last month, but I wanted to keep it in here just because this is what we do every Monday to make sure that we have enough cash on hand or to know if we need to transfer some of the cash because we keep most of it in the LGIP, which is the Local Government Investment Pool. It's run by the state of Idaho. So we just put our bank balances on there. We do the payroll estimate, the accounts payable estimates. We have what's available. Those bottom line items, the Local Government Investment Pool, the Zions Clearwater, and the Wells Fargo, are balances that we keep in those accounts. That's investments and our credit cards. Another placeholder, a summary of revenues. A lot of people, or a lot of inquiry about where are we at in right now. So this was 67% through our fiscal year. Citywide, we were at 61% in collecting revenue. That's a great place to be. General fund was at 60, street was at 56, recreation 59. I just picked those main funds. If there's a fund that you guys decide you want to track a little closer, we can add them. But this shows you, and look at the WPC, they're right on the dime, 67%. So water's a beautiful thing. I ought to, maybe, and I will, I'll put together the revenue graph for you. It's so cyclical. It's winter, summer, winter, summer, winter, summer. It looks like tinsel on a Christmas tree, and it's so predictable. So the low 46% in water, knowing that, we're going to make that up because we're on the upswing, right? We're in the summer, and we're going to collect all those revenues. Those kinds of things are important to know when you're looking and analyzing this kind of a report. Okay, summary of expenses. Citywide, 54%. Boy, that's a real sweet spot when you think we're 67% through. However, we are coming into a busy season for a lot of our funds, like parks, streets. They do a lot of work in the summer. So that's a good spot to be because we've got a little bandwidth to make up in our expenses. Again, I didn't see anything that I would point out as either an issue or something that we need to be concerned about. It all looks really good. I usually don't do this, but a lot of times people will ask this question. And the reason being is that if you have actuals, I think it's more important to focus on your actuals than it is your budget. But a lot of times in the moment of this particular year, you would want to say, okay, my budget, I had a budget of 151 million. How am I doing? I've expended 92 million. Now remember, we're 67% through the year. That's 61%. Again, a nice, really good spot to be right now. Another placeholder, our financial performance metrics, these haven't changed within this month. We've gone over them. If you want to review them, we can. We have debt per capita, personnel cost ratio, the general revenues per capita, the budget variance, our bond rating, which I explained to you. We did add, and from the last time we talked, we did add the base payroll to revenue and the direct labor cost. That's why it's a different slide. We've talked about those. And then these were two, in fact, this one was just brought up this morning. So I quickly added it in the slide to put a bookmark there. It's something I need to talk to Jay about. I would really like to make sure that we're using that correctly. But I have put the bookmark in there, and we'll get that information to you. That's really all I've got for the Treasury's report tonight.
Okay, council, do any of you have questions of Rich?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this treasurer's report posted on the Pocatello website?
It is.
It is, okay.
Yeah,
So
I will-
anybody who'd want detail on that is welcome to go and look at that.
The actual report and the PowerPoint will be
slides
on
are
there.
as well.
Will be on there.
This
Not
is
yet.
again a summary.
Right.
Nope, I send them to Connie as soon as I'm done, and
Okay, so
Rick
they'll
will
come out
post it.
Monday. Yep,
Yeah.
thank you.
Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. So B was treasurer's report. Council may wish to approve the treasurer's report for April 2026 showing cash and investments as of April 30, 2026. C, council decision, annexation approval for South Fifth Avenue. Council may wish to adopt its decision annexing approximately 19.19 acres of land generally located across from Century High School on South Fifth Avenue. The subject property will be zoned commercial general. D, council decision, short plat approval for Creekside District Division 3. Council may wish to adopt its decision approving the short plat for Creekside District Division 3, which subdivides approximately 3.49 acres of land into 2 lots subject to conditions. E, council decision, amended zoning designation approval for 6100 South Fifth Avenue. Council may wish to adopt its decision approving the request from Spring Creek Homes LLC to amend the zoning designation by contract of 6100 South Fifth Avenue from residential commercial professional to light industrial, subject to conditions. F, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board appointment. Council may wish to confirm the mayor's appointment of Laura McKenzie to serve as member of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board representing the Zoo Idaho Zoological Society. Laura's term will begin July 13, 2026 and expire July 13, 2028. G, Pocatello Arts Council appointment. Council may wish to confirm the mayor's appointment of Julie Rowe to serve as the member of the Pocatello Arts Council, replacing Tanner Morton, who resigned. Julie's term will begin June 19, 2026, and expire November 17th, 2029. H, removal of appointment, Civil Service Commission, Farnsworth. Council may wish to consider removing Jonathan Farnsworth as a member of the Civil Services Commission in accordance with Idaho Code 50-210. Effective date will be June 18, 2026.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would move to approve the consent agenda, agenda item A, sections A through H.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a first from Councilman Mangum, a second from Councilwoman Swanson. Brianna, please call the roll.
Mangum?
Yes.
Swanson?
Yes.
Biggs?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Satterwhite?
Yes.
All right, we do have one proclamation this evening, but before we move forward with that, we always like to take time at these council meetings to recognize folks that have done acts of service. As you might know, Idaho has adopted the 250,000 acts of service for the 250th year of the founding of America. And so with that, we're really trying to get the word out there that in Pocatello, let's do these acts of service. And we are recognized officially as a just serve community, which is kind of part of this. So with that said, a few acknowledgements this evening. The Friends of the Idaho Zoo, there were some improvement projects out at the zoo, and we'd like to recognize the Friends of the Zoo Society. I don't have really all the specifics here, but they did a lot of beautification out there, and curb appeal is a really important area that we have for the city. So thank you, Friends of the Zoo Idaho. Are there any members from that group here? Okay, yes, if you could just stand and we'll acknowledge you. And, okay, thank you very much for the work. Thank you, really appreciate that. Next one is Christine's Floral and Gifts. There are a few traffic islands, landscape traffic islands around the community. You may know of one on the corner of Oak and Young Street. It's kind of by the Real Theater and Ed Snell's Pharmacy. We had a group of volunteers from Christine's Floral and Gifts that they've adopted that traffic island and they've planted flowers and they're going to maintain that this summer. So any representatives from Christine's Floral here? Okay, well, if you stop by that business, make sure and thank them. Then on the Pocatello Cemetery, the Mountain View Cemetery, the city has a program where different businesses or individuals can adopt a section of the cemetery and really get that looking nice before Memorial Day. I do have several names here, several businesses that did help out with that during the last month or so. It's Connections Credit Union, the Nelson Family, Walmart, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Second Ward, Idaho Central Credit Union, Christine's Floral and Gifts, so wow, twice, Big Boy Scout Troop 1295, Pokey Justice League, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Highland South Stake, Moonlight Systems, and Inhabit Home Health and Hospice. So big round of applause for those groups. Okay, and we do have one proclamation this evening, and I've asked Council member Brent Nichols to read that. Sorry. Go ahead.
You ready? All right, City of Pocatello proclamation. Whereas skateboarding is a positive, creative, and inclusive activity that promotes physical fitness, perseverance, and self-expression for people of all ages, and whereas skateboarding has grown into a globally recognized sport and cultural movement, culminating in the inclusion in the Olympic Games, and whereas public skate parks provide safe, designated spaces for individuals to gather, practice skills, and build community while encouraging healthy outdoor recreation, and whereas the City of Pocatello supports opportunities that enhance quality of life, youth engagement, and community connections, and whereas Go Skateboarding Day, celebrated annually on June 21st, brings together skateboarders and community members worldwide to celebrate the joy, creativity, and freedom of skateboarding. And whereas local skateboarders, organization, and advocates continue to promote responsible use of public spaces, mentorship, and positive community involvement through skateboarding. Now therefore, Mark Dahlquist, Mayor of the City of Pocatello, does hereby proclaim June 21st, 2026 to be Go Skateboarding Day in the City of Pocatello, and encourages all residents to recognize and celebrate the contributions of skateboarders to our community and to participate in activities that promote health, recreation, and unity.
Thank you. Do we have Dave Van Etten here tonight to receive this? Got a group of you there.
Mayor Dahlquist and members of the City Council, thank you for recognizing Go Skateboarding Day and for your support of the skateboarding community here in Pocatello. On behalf of Skate Idaho and the skate community, I would like to thank the City of Pocatello, the Parks and Rec Department, and the Bonneville Neighborhood Association, our community partners, donors, volunteers, and everyone who helped make Optimus Skate Park a reality. We'd especially like to thank the Bonneville Neighborhood Association for embracing the skate park and welcoming it into their neighborhood. The park is already making a positive impact and providing a place where skaters of all ages can learn, grow, and connect. Every day we see families, youth, and visitors enjoying a facility that has quickly become a valued community gathering place. We're also excited about the future. The completion of Phase 1 is just the beginning as we look towards Phase 2 and future expansion of the park. We see an opportunity to create an even greater community asset, one that can serve more riders, attract visitors from across the region, and continue to promote healthy, active lifestyles for generations to come. We invite all of you to join us on June 21st at Optimus Skate Park for Go Skateboarding Day as we celebrate skateboarding, community, and the progress we've made together. Thank you again for this recognition and your continued support of skateboarding in Pocatello.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for proclaiming June 21st as Go Skate Day. By proclaiming Go Skate Day, you recognize the positive impact skateboarding has on our community and the role it plays in promoting mental health, inclusion, and opportunity for our youth. Our skate park is more than a place to skate. It's a place where people come together, build friendships, stay active, and find a sense of belonging. For many youth, it provides a positive outlet that supports both physical and mental well-being. This message we share today has profound meaning, made even more significant through the Chevy Nichols Memorial Scholarship Fund. Skateboarding wasn't just a hobby for Chevy, it was his escape and a form of self-expression. After losing our son, our family was approached by Skate Idaho with the idea of creating a scholarship in his honor. In the midst of heartbreak, that simple act of compassion gave us a sense of purpose. Together, we built this fund not only to preserve Chevy's legacy, but to transform our tragedy into hope for others. Through this fund, we're able to support local youth and speak openly about mental health, something Chevy struggled with, and something our community needs. Chevy's life continues to shine through the opportunities this scholarship creates. It reflects who he was, the compassion he had for others, and the way he lifted people up without even realizing it. Through this fund, we're committed to empowering local youth, encouraging their dreams, and promoting mental health awareness. Our hope is every young person touched by this scholarship feels seen, supported, and reminded that they're never alone. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, hello. My name is EJ Lopez. I'm from Soda Springs, Idaho. Even though there's a skate park in Soda Springs, I find myself driving down here at least 2 times a week to skate at the park. I've been doing that since about I got my license. And it's partially because the parks here are better than the facilities in Soda Springs, but mainly because of the skate community. So throughout the years at Ross Park, I have met some of my best friends, like Dave, for instance, have some also behind me. Since Optimus Park has opened, I've got to see these guys way more often. It's been great. I've seen people I haven't seen in years, come back out of the woodwork to check out Optimus. But most importantly, I've seen lots of new faces. And it's so great to see so many people get together and make new friendships just through the shared love of skateboarding. I am so incredibly thankful for the city of Pocatello, just the fact that they care about the skateboard community and they've chose to invest in a place that we can all enjoy. So thank you, anyone and everyone that's made this happen. I appreciate it more than I can even explain. Optimus has only been open for a year, and I've already had countless great times there, and I'm looking forward to many more. So thank you, guys.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'm interested of how many skaters or skate supporters we have in the community. Looks like I see a bunch of them back there.
Wow.
All right, cool. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for all you do to make that succeed. I think that's been a wonderful addition over at Optimus Park. See people there all the time. I know there's plans or thoughts to even expand that. Want to thank the Bonneville Neighborhood Association, Janelle and Alfreda, for supporting this and being welcome and not being not in my backyard people and, really welcoming that. So thank you, Bonneville Neighborhood Association. Really a great amenity for the city. Okay, with that, we'll move on to agenda item 5, which is calendar review. Council meetings, June 22nd at 1 p.m. Special city council meeting, that's an executive session. July 2nd, 9 a.m. City Council Budget Development Meeting. 5:30 p.m. also on July 2nd is City Council Clarification Meeting, followed by the 6 p.m. regular City Council meeting. Other events, on June 19th, the city offices will be closed for the Juneteenth holiday. However, garbage, compost, and recycling pickups will be on schedule. This one's not in my notes, but I know on June 20th is the celebration of Juneteenth, and that's going to be over at the Purse Park in front of the Senior Center. I believe that goes from about 11 to 4 that day. Then on June 21st, Father's Day at the zoo. Fathers will receive a 50% discount off their admission when accompanied by a paid child. Looking ahead, municipal band concerts on Sunday evenings at the Ross Park Band Shell from 7 to 8 p.m. They're on the east lawn, 7 to 8 p.m. beginning on June 28th and continuing through August 2nd. The concerts are free to the community. July 3rd, 5 p.m., Pocatello America 250 celebration and time capsule dedication on the east lawn at Marshall Public Library. That's at 113 South Garfield. Also, July 3rd, city offices will be closed for the Independence Day holiday. However, garbage, compost, and recycling, that will operate as scheduled. On July 4th, of course, is Independence Day at 9:30 a.m. There is the parade in historic downtown Pocatello, and community celebration activities and firework display will be held at the Bannock County Event Center and Portneuf Wellness Complex. Council, any other dates of note you'd like to share?
Mayor,
Sure.
not a date, but I'd just like to acknowledge in our council meeting the passing of Idaho Law. He was a regular presence in these meetings, and I'm sure if he was still with us, he'd be here tonight.
You know what?
And we always want more community involvement, and Idaho definitely provided that and a lot of excitement. So,
Yeah. Thank you, well said. We'd be remiss without giving a shout out to him this evening. That takes us to agenda item 6, items from the audience. This time has been set aside to hear items from the audience not listed on the agenda. Items which appeared somewhere else on the agenda will not be discussed at this time. The council is not allowed to take any official action at this meeting on matters brought forward. The council is not brought forward, and under this agenda item, items will either be referred to the appropriate staff or scheduled on a subsequent agenda. You must sign in at the start of the meeting in order to be recognized. Note, total time allotted for this item is 15 minutes with a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. We do have 2 folks that have signed in this evening. Paul Schmidt, I may not have that totally right. Schmidt-Line, and Paul, We the People, and Flock Cameras you wanted to discuss.
Good evening, City Council members, Mayor Dahlquist. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you, Dakota, for mentioning my friend. I know he'd love to be here. I was with him last Thursday, and he had hopes that he'd maybe make it into City Council sometime. Unfortunately, that won't be the case again. I want to talk about We the People. When I was going to ISU, Ron Hatzenbuehler taught me that the government gets all of its powers from you guys, we the people. And it looks like my speech is not here, so I may have to ad lib. But I want to talk about flock cameras. I'm not sure if we the people gave our city permission to have these cameras that read our license plates, that can listen to us. I'm not sure that we the people gave the city permission for peeping drones and peeping cameras out there. The Constitution of the United States guarantees us a certain amount of privacy. These phones here we give up our privacy willingly. But I don't remember having a vote for flock cameras or drones. I went to a community garden presentation. I think it was awesome. I know that you're looking out for the people. But just the name of flock cameras implies that we're animals. We are not animals to be herded and surveyed. This community should be a community built on love. One of my favorite poems from Walt Whitman, Leaves of Grass, talks about a city where the people had so much love for one another that it was built on kindness and respect. And I know that that's the city that we all hope to have. So I would encourage you, city council members, to think about the issue of flock cameras and surveillance and privacy. And I want to appreciate you for taking your time and leading and being in a tough position. I appreciate you. Many Machoni Waters Life.
Okay, next we have Christy Lewis. The topic is fireworks. Christy?
Okay, is that gonna be redundant according to, item 15?
It does, as long as you're not talking about the ordinance itself, but if there's something besides that, you can.
Christy Lewis. I have a concern about fireworks in general, especially this year. Because of the dry conditions here, this whole city is ready to go up. People are not responsible in their use of fireworks. It's been proven time and time again. I think the display at the fairgrounds should be adequate. It scares me, because whether you live on Satterfield or wherever you live, one house is too many. And, you know, we all remember the big fire up Mink Creek. You know, we lost 60 homes. And with the conditions being what they are now, I mean, twice since I've lived in my home, our yard has caught fire from neighbors' fireworks. They're dangerous, and this year in particular, I think we really need to address the fact that we just can't do it. We just can't. I'm just saying. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, agenda item 7 is a public hearing, Community Development Block Grant Application, Year 2025 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report for public review and comment. This time has been set aside for the council to receive public comment on the City of Pocatello's draft program year 2025 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report in accordance with its Citizen Participation Plan and U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development requirements covering the grant year beginning April 1, 2025 and ending March 31, 2026. All comments received will be reported in the CAPER and submitted to HUD. I do declare the public hearing open when we have a staff presentation.
Good evening, Mayor Dahlquist, members of the City Council. My name is Christine Howe, and I'm the Grants Manager for the City of Pocatello. The City of Pocatello receives an annual appropriation from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD, and must comply with program requirements and federal regulations as part of that federal grant award. The CAPER, or Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, is a report required by HUD to inform both the granting agency and the community of the activities that took place during the program year. In addition, under the Code of Federal Regulations 24 CFR 570, the city is required to offer multiple public hearing opportunities related to the CDBG program, and this hearing serves as one of those comment opportunities. Tonight specifically, we're seeking comments on the CAPER for CDBG program year 2025, which began on April 1st of 2025 and ended March 31st, 2026. For program year 25, the city received an entitlement appropriation of $380,283 from HUD, and the program funded a number of activities that align with our CDBG 5-year consolidated plan, which guides the annual program years from April of 22 to March of 2027. These projects included affordable housing, public infrastructure improvements, public facility improvements, and public services, and they address our goals identified in our consolidated plan. To address the goal to create and maintain affordable housing in the community, we continued our renewal program and assisted 25 homes through the grants. In addition, the CDBG program provided match funding for our lead hazard control and healthy homes program and assisted 12 units during the program year through the match. We ultimately awarded over $130,000 in funding for these activities. Additionally, the neighborhood sidewalk program continued as part of our public infrastructure improvements, and this included replacement and repair of sidewalk at the 200 block of West Young Street, and we began the assessment and repair work in Old Town. The CDBG program also provided about $55,300 in funding for public service programs, and this included subrecipient awards to Aid for Friends for their PRT bus ticket and case management programs, the Boys and Girls Club for their summer youth program, New Day Products for their case management services, the Pocatello Free Clinic for dental services, and St. Vincent de Paul for their emergency service assistance program. Overall, a total of 1,069 unduplicated clients were served through these programs. That's a per capita cost of just over $50 per person through these grants. The city and its partners leveraged other funding, including the Lead Safe and Healthy Homes program, as mentioned, and we worked with the Pocatello Regional Transit Authority with some of their federal funding. The lead program investments in the 12 homes totaled over $585,000. And through the sidewalk program, the city was able to leverage an additional $23,000. And we also received just under $98,000 in program income to contribute toward projects. So the city remains in compliance with general CDBG standards and regulations. We meet our spending timelines, cost reasonableness, and spending parameters for program administration and public services, which are both capped at 20% and 15% of the federal appropriation. The draft CAPER was distributed to the advisory committee for their feedback on program goals and outcomes, and their feedback included fixing some minor clerical errors, providing clarification on the annual goals chart as compared to our cumulative goals, and some clarifying questions about the distribution of CDBG funding. In addition, the report was made available to the public since June 3rd. It was published in the Idaho State Journal as well as on the city website for submission of written comments. To date, we have not received any written comments. Should any comments be received tonight, they will be summarized and included in our CAPER as well. So at this time, I'm now available to answer any questions from council.
Okay, yes.
Christine, you mentioned that this year's allocation was 300,000, what was the number-ish?
380,283.
Okay, and is that part of a 5-year plan where we get the same amount each year? Or does it vary each year? Or tell me how that works.
Sure. The amount varies each year. It's based on a formula that HUD establishes, and they use the formula after they receive the federal budget allocation. So over the last 4 or 5 years, HUD has level funded the CDBG program, so that allocation has been roughly the same. However, more entitlement communities sometimes are entered into the CDBG program, which would reduce the allocation. In PY25, it was a slight increase from PY24, but it's remained pretty steady or slightly declined overall.
Okay, so you set out at year 1 of this 5-year plan and then have a set of goals that you're working on annually to finish up in 27, did you say?
Yes, this will
2027?
be this is our last year of
last year.
PY26, which will conclude in March of 27. So this summer, we'll be reevaluating the 5-year plan to do another 5 years of how we'll spend the funding.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Christine. I'm going to ask the city clerk at this time if we've received any written correspondence for the record.
No written correspondence.
Okay, thank you. At this time, there's the public testimony. There is a 3-minute time limit. This is public testimony pertaining to that community development block grant plan. At this time, is there anyone present supporting the application that would like to speak? Okay, any testimony by those uncommitted to the application that would like to speak? Or finally, anyone here that is opposed to the application that would like to speak? Okay, thank you. I think we're good there. I will declare this public hearing closed. Council, the items before you, how would you wish to proceed? Sorry. Okay, there's no motion on this one. Okay, no action item. All right, so next is agenda item 8, public hearing, Cedar Hills LID. This time has been set aside for the council to receive comments on the Cedar Hills Local Improvement District from the Cedar Hills property owners regarding an application submitted by Cedar Hills Condo Association. The subject property is known as Cedar Hills Drive Units 1 to 101. Residents are requesting to replace the private water main line and services with new infrastructure meeting city standards, and once constructed and approved, the city would take ownership for future maintenance. The water line would be constructed within the existing public right-of-way. I declare the public meeting open. This time, if we could have the applicant come forward. I believe that's Molly, or the designee here.
Mayor, I was under the understanding that we were gonna get an overview from,
Good.
Tom?
Sure,
Am
yeah,
I-
and we
am I
can, and
incorrect?
we will, yeah, we
Okay.
will, Molly, if there's anything you want to preface it with, but yeah,
Oh,
Tom is gonna come
okay.
up and, yeah.
And will I have, I'm sorry, I'm just asking this question. Will I have an opportunity at the end?
There's a rebuttal
Okay,
period.
may
where you
I,
can
may I
come
just save
back.
my comments for that time?
You can,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tom Kirkman, Public Works Director. If you will indulge me, I've prepared some comments for tonight. Before discussing the merits of the proposed local improvement district number 120, it's important to recognize how this process began. This proposed LID was not initiated by the city of Pocatello. Rather, it originated from a petition submitted by the property owners within Cedar Hills condominium who requested that the city consider the formation of a local improvement district to finance and construct needed water system improvements within their development. The role of the city and the city council is not to advocate for or against the project, but to ensure that the process established by Idaho law has been followed and to determine whether the required statutory findings can be made. Additionally, the council must evaluate whether the estimated project cost is reasonable and whether it can make the findings required under Idaho code. And those findings are that the district is in the best interest of the affected property owners and the city as a whole, that there is a reasonable probability that the district obligations will be paid, and that the value of the property within the district is sufficient. In addition to determining whether the statutory requirements for formation of the district have been met, the council should recognize that several important policies and financial decisions remain if the LID moves forward. These include determining the term of the assessment period, whether interest will be charged on the assessments and what rate that would be, and whether the city will contribute any portion of the project costs from other funding sources. While these items do not necessarily need to be finalized as part of tonight's hearing, they are important considerations that will affect the overall financial impact to the property owners and the long-term administration of the district. It is important to note that formation of a local improvement district does not occur simply because a petition was submitted, nor does it occur automatically if the statutory findings can be made. The petition initiated the process and brought the matter before the council for consideration. However, the decision whether to establish the district remains entirely within the discretion of the city council. The council is not obligated to approve the LID simply because the legal requirements have been met. Rather, the council must exercise its judgment and determine whether creation of the district is appropriate. If the council is not comfortable proceeding for any reason it deems relevant to the public interest, it may decline to establish the district and terminate the process. Tonight's decision is therefore not about whether the city desires to construct this project on its own initiative. Rather, it is about whether the residents who requested the improvements have met the requirements established by Idaho law and whether the council can make the findings necessary to allow the process to move forward. even if the council determines that the statutory requirements have been satisfied and that the required findings can be made by the council retains the discretion to determine whether establishing the district is appropriate course of action for the city and the affected property owners. The question before the council is whether the record demonstrates that the proposed improvements are in the best interest of the affected properties and the city, that the properties receive a special benefit from the improvements, that the assessment method is fair and equitable, and that statutory requirements have been satisfied. The council must then determine whether, based upon the entire record, it wishes to proceed with the creation of the district. With that, staff asks the council to consider the information presented tonight, hear any public testimony and protest, and make the decision it believes is appropriate based on the information before. Do you have any questions for me?
Mayor.
Yes.
So I think this was first brought up 6-7 months ago. Could you please just re-explain? I was under the impression that it might fail, and if so, then the city is on the hook to replace it in its entirety. Is that not true?
Yeah, so this is a private water system. The city, basically, there's a large water meter at the property line, and the city maintains up till that meter. Everything on the other side of that meter is a private system and is the responsibility of those property owners. That is the decision of the council to decide whether, if it does fail, you feel that that needs to be replaced by the city. That's your decision.
Thank you.
Okay, yes.
Tom, could you give another example? I believe you shared before about an LID project in the city of Pocatello and why it was created and what the result of it was?
Yeah, we haven't had an LID in quite a while. And it's cloudy because there's not a lot of records really of it. But from what I remember, it was there was a trailer park in town that had a sewer line failing, private sewer lines. It was leaching into the aquifer, into the groundwater. And so they proposed an LID to fix that. The council at that time, I believe, felt that that was in the best interest of those people in the district as well as the city in a whole because it had the potential to contaminate our groundwater.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions? Okay, we may have you come back up, Tom, but thank you. At this time, I'll ask the city clerk if we've received written correspondence for the record.
We have, and all correspondence has been given to the council, received up until 5 p.m. today.
Yes, it has. Yes, and before we move into the public testimony section, as our clerk indicated, that there has been a large amount of written correspondence that all the council members and the mayor have been privy to. When you make your remark, it's not necessary to come forward to make remarks if you've already submitted the written ones. They are part of the record. So I just ask you that if you've got new comments or haven't been part of that written testimony, giving you that little ground rule there. So at this time, if applicable, I would ask for anyone to come forward that wishes to make comments, either for, against, or neutral for the local improvement district, yes. And by the way, I'm just making sure too, we'll need your address as well, that
Yep,
the
not a
only
problem.
comments will be from people that live at the Cedars.
Derek Morrison, 75 Cedar Hills. Originally, when this came out, I voted yes to move forward with the petition on the LID. And then in light of the letter that was sent out by the city that showed the estimated costs, that generated a lot of questions and a lot of opposition started of understanding. So I've submitted an email I want to pause this just so as a community we can understand the costs that's involved with this and how we're going to move forward. I'm not saying I'm totally opposed to it, but I think we need a better understanding of how it affects each home, homeowners, taxes, the whole thing. I've talked to realtors, how marketability, sellability impacts the Cedars. So I just want to put that out there as we just need to go learn more about where we're going moving forward. So I'd like to thank you guys for your time in this, and that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any others that would like to testify? Sure.
Fran Heisler, 98 Cedar Hills Drive. Thank you, City Council and Mayor, for giving me this time. I just want to voice that I am against this proposal of the LID for the Cedars Condo Association, and I would actually like to see it nixed altogether and just dropped. We cannot afford this in living here, nor can we afford it when we're trying to sell down the road. One thing I would like to put on record is that the residents of our community, and most definitely the City Council, Public Works Director, and anyone else that will be working for us now and in the future, that right now, we as residents are under a board that is a one-man band dictatorship. When we are approached with any dealings from us, it should be from our entire board, not just the one-man band, and possibly some assigned residents, if you plan to do such exorbitant costs to us. I realize that this is our problem, not yours. I just wanted it on the record and in your minutes. And I thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I'd like to talk.
Sure.
Monty Mills, number 69, Cedar Hills. My wife bought her condo in 2000. There's been several water problems since that's happened. I've probably gone a total of 15 days without water. So, and they've came in, they've put Band-Aids on. Every time they put a Band-Aid on, something else goes wrong. And it's going to come down to there's a fire and there's not enough water. We talk about fire, and the whole system is over 50 years old. And so the whole thing is gonna fail, or it's gonna fail in the middle of the winter. You can't dig up. You can't dig up, and is that just our problem, or does the city have to get in on this? Because I think that it becomes a city problem. We have over 30 acres, and if you don't have water for your fires, or residents don't have any water, because it's a single system. And I realize now you have to have a loop system. So our single system comes from one source and comes down, and it's at the end. And so you have contamination of water. You have whatever, all that water that's setting in there, and all that sediment that's in there. And so I just feel, as people say property values. Well, what is your property value going to be when the whole thing fails and they say, well, here's a $30,000 assessment on your property? Then there's going to be a fire sale of people because they can't afford it. For you to come in and give us a reasonable bid and, hopefully a reasonable amount of money. So yeah, it's going to raise our property. But another thing, there's two of us. I pay for water, for everything. So it's 6 people I pay for their water. 2 of us, I do. If I'm gone for the winter, I still pay for those 6 people. But so that's my whole assessment of it, is please consider this, because I think it's a major part of the city. And we were annexed in '97, and we've been paying property taxes ever since then. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Monty.
Karen Skinner, number 39 Cedar Hills Drive. My problem with this is I moved in there in 2001, and I pay all the taxes, I do everything for the city, and I work as a public service to the city. But according to your letter, the city will have absolutely no money involved in this process. And I don't understand that. There's 100 homes up there. How many people is that? How much taxes have we paid? Why isn't the city involved in some way financially on this situation? Second problem is, we were told, fear of tactics, this is all gonna happen. And we started investigating after we received the letter and found out that's not really true. So what I'm asking for is more time for us to do more investigation and talk more with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And little clarification, citywide, that there's not anything different here, that it's the city's policy to take care of that water line that comes from the street to the meter. And citywide, our policy is that those private lines that are privately owned on private property, those are the responsibility of the resident. And I know that that's kind of hard to swallow sometimes, but no one is being singled out. That water line that goes on private property, that's not the responsibility of the city, and that's a citywide policy and not just for instances like this. And it's hard to do this too, but when homeowners associations are set up, that it's very common and prudent to have that reserve for just these capital expenses that come forward. Easier said than done, but just kind of a lesson I think a lot of homeowners associations see is that no one likes to pay those high dues, but you have to work in those monthly dues. You have to anticipate the capital expenditures coming forward. And easier said than done, but I've seen a lot of homeowners associations out there that they don't charge enough in their dues to set money aside for capital improvements like this. Okay, any other testimony?
Mayor, City Council, thank you for giving us time to speak. I'm Brady Barnes. I live in 72 Cedar Hills. Been up there for about 6 years. It's a great place to live. We have had a lot of water problems, a lot of issues. I agree with everything that Monty was saying. Worried about property values, worried about happens if that fails, if at any point, if it all fails, we can't replace it. We don't have reserves. The HOA, for whatever reasons, we haven't set things aside, we haven't kept up on it. If that all fails at some point, and then we're without water up there, does the city at some point, do they have to come in, or are we just without water, period?
It's private property.
So it would be-
the city would not be obligated to
It would
come
not be
fix that.
obligated. So
No.
we would just be, like, if the water went out in the wintertime, it was a big problem, we could not pay to fix it. That place would just be uninhabitable.
Yeah, not sure the outcome, but just it is citywide policy that we do
I
not
just-
go on
yeah,
the private and fix
I understand,
that.
that's my concern, is what happens then? And what happens with everyone's property, because we'll all lose everything at that point, or just about everything. And I think the way this was explained to me is this process as we move forward is just, we're not agreeing to do anything, you're not agreeing to do anything at this point. We're just trying to get to a point where we can get an idea what the actual cost is going to be. And we have to move past this point to do that, correct? So at least I would, and I hope the residents agree with me, I just really want to know what the hard numbers are and what we're going to end up paying. And then we can decide at that point, right? It's not tonight. We don't have to, we're not in or out, and certainly the city isn't either. But we at least need to advance this to a point where we can make an informed decision, as can the city, which is fair on all sides. And that's why I would really encourage, we need to go forward with it, because I am terrified that something like that'll happen. I won't have a place to live. My home will be worth nothing. And I, as much as people don't want to hear that or believe that, my understanding is that is a very real possibility. That's all I have. Thank you for your
I
time.
think your approach is prudent to go out and get some accurate prices and regroup and go from there. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Linda Chivers, number 59, Cedar Hill Drive. 8 years ago, the biggest share of the water line at the Cedar Hills condos was replaced by 6-inch PVC pipe. At the time, the city came and inspected it, and everything was good. I think they're talking about a lot of catastrophes that aren't going to happen. I mean, everybody's going to have an issue occasionally, but we have more adequate water lines up there than they're trying to propose to the city that need to be replaced. And we have people who live up there that know they were there and involved in the replacing of these water lines. This is going to be a real expense to a lot of our residents who can't afford to have this expensive LID put against our property. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, Kathleen Rakitansky, number 80. The only question that I have, I've been up there over 30 years, and I know that most of the water lines have been replaced. To my knowledge, I'm sorry I didn't bring my notes. But anyway, there's only like 2 more that have to be done. And then pretty much all of them will be done. If we have been annexed by the city, then why don't we get more things done? And also, when I looked at the proposal that was sent, and there was things on there like you were charging for paving if you had to dig up Bannock Highway, and we were being charged for that, from what I understand reading everything that was done. And we were also being charged for the city attorney to approve this different things and for the paving of the roads. And our city road it's a city road, it's not a private road. We didn't know that for a while. We've always paid for our own plowing and stuff. And then all of a sudden the city told us, this is a city road, so score, you guys come and plow, and you have been. So, if it's a city road, then why doesn't the city pay if we went along with this? And I feel like all of a sudden, $30,000 was the estimate per unit, and that's 100 units. And I know that things like that are expensive, but do we really need the entire thing done? I'm on the edge. What do we do? I'm a single woman, and digging up $30,000 or even trying to spread it out, I don't like payments. But some of the charges that were in that proposal really didn't make sense to me. Because it looks like we're paying for things like your city attorneys are already getting paid, so why are we paying them? And why aren't you doing the paving if it's a city road? So I know it's probably a Mickey Mouse question, but I'd really like to know, I want to know more rather than what we got. Because originally, we wanted it was my understanding, and I was still on the board at the time, it was my understanding that we were signing something that was going to have our water investigated to see if these things needed to be done. And then all of a sudden, we get this nice packet in the mail saying, we want $30,000 and we're going to do this for you. So I think we need to put this on hold till at least we have more information that we can deal with, and maybe explain it. Don't just say it's going to be this price.
Yeah,
So
yeah, thank
anyway,
you.
thanks, you guys. I think you do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jim Morphy, and I have a 50-some-year residence at the Cedar. There when it started, and still there today. Wouldn't move anywhere else. And with me are about, would all those who are Cedar homeowners like to raise your hands? These are my friends, and they're a little concerned because, in my opinion, just my opinion, is this was incredibly, this proposal that came out was a incredibly expensive and unreachable solution to a problem that hasn't even been defined yet. Because the LID only pertains to the main line. We have had our troubles with the service lines and been working on those and upgrading those. But quite frankly, we've had very little problem with our main line. And so that's a concern. And the other concern I may have mentioned earlier in my note was that once you do an LID, that becomes a headache of the real estate people, the closers, the title people. All of a sudden, you've got these encumbrances on all these properties, and people go to sell their property. Well, who's going to pay off the encumbrance? Whose pocket does that come out of? So it's a real mess when you're in the real estate business. I've done real estate for 50 years, and you could talk to anybody that's associated in real estate. They'll say, stay away from the LID process. Find another solution. And I really think that we can find another solution, a little help with the city. We can find a better solution to this issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Getting address, is that a problem?
I think we had out of the 100, we got 66 signatures in less than a week.
Yeah.
Mayor, Council, Curtis Smith, I live at 84 Cedar Hills. I'm on the board, and I don't think we are a one-person show on the board, just in my opinion. Everybody knows we have a water problem up there, and everybody was for doing something about it till the bid came out. And I know it's just an estimate, but we don't really know what this is gonna cost, and we need to, I think, move forward to at least till we get to the calculation portion of this, so we know what the true costs are gonna be for everybody. Everybody's speculating. This says we're gonna pay 100% of the $4 million or whatever it turned out to be. And everybody's right, we can't afford that. Our properties it'll be unaffordable for most of us, because you're talking $150 a person per month just for the LID portion. And then you tack on, now we're paying water and garbage as well. But that's just an estimate. We need to get to the next step so we know what the true costs are gonna be, so we can then make an educated decision. If we put this on pause and on hold, I don't see us being able to go out and get a bid to replace the water line. We just don't have the capacity, the bandwidth, the knowledge to do that. The city does. We have a problem with contractors. We're having a hard time. We're lucky we have a person that has a vested interest to work on it. If they don't, you know how hard it is to get contractors to work right now. There's just so much work out there and so few of them. And so we're struggling with that. When we have a water line break, we can go 2 to 3 days. And not everybody loses water at the same time up there. We have pressure problems. We get phone calls all summer long that there's not enough pressure because we only have a 4-inch main up there. So we have some problems, but we need to at least get to the calculation portion so we can see the true cost of what this is going to be for everybody, and then make an educated decision whether to pull out or to move forward. So stopping it right now does nothing but kick the can down the road. And we'll be back in a few more years, or 10 years, or 15 years. And so let's at least see what it's going to cost and make an educated decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mayor and City Council. I'm Jody Barnes. I'm in 23. I am a new board member, newly elected, new to the Cedars. I've been there about 2 years or a year and a half. I
again, on the board with Curtis and Molly, and I would like to point out that we are not a one-man band. We make all decisions together. I feel like that's inappropriate for a lot of the people to say, because I feel like there is anger about this because previous board members, previous boards didn't prioritize needs that were told that were being taken care of, and they were not being taken care of. So now we're in this situation. I would like to point out that a lot of the people that are here that don't want to do this are in the upper numbers. I'm in 23, I'm at the bottom. I've got, since I moved in, I've had 3 water problems. I just, the other day, had another pipe break. So the significant challenges that we face involves our shared water infrastructure. In many cases, even simple repairs on maintenance inside a homeowner's property require HOA involvement because the water shut-offs valves affect multiple homes connected. So my pipe that broke the other day, our whole section had to be shut off to fix my pipe. This creates unnecessary delays, additional coordination, and frustration for residents who are simply trying to complete routine repairs or breaks. When I first moved in, I don't have water pressure. I wanted to see if I could get a water pressure valve, something to help me have more water pressure, because I did. I had a house off but Highland area, and I wanted something smaller, and I moved in. I have no water pressure, and that's my reality. I have no water pressure, and I have sediment because I'm at the bottom. So it's great that the people that are above are against this, but they aren't in the same situation because that's where the water starts. So it is better for them, and so I understand their concern, but I also have concerns too. In addition to our community, it continue to experience these ongoing concerns related to sediment in the water system and the inconsistent water pressure. The issues affect the reliability and quality of service residents receive and have become a recurring concern throughout the neighborhood. As our community continues to grow, we respectfully ask the city to consider solutions that will improve water system reliability, reduce maintenance barriers for homeowners, and address the longstanding concerns regarding sediment and water pressure. These improvements would have a meaningful impact on the community and the quality of life for the current and future residents. I do understand that it is a very expensive process, but I think that the main concern here as a nurse should be the safety of water, quality of water, and having reliable water. So, thank you.
All right, so at this time, okay, we've got another comment, okay.
I'm Elmer Martinez, I live in 51 Cedar Hills. And personally, I want more factual numbers to be able to look at that. And as far as clarity of the process, I still don't have a clear idea of if this moves forward, if the council says this is something that we should go to the next step with, to get those accurate numbers for us to look at. Does that mean that the residents of that LID district still have a way to come before the council and say, this just isn't going to work for us? Does it stop there, or does the process keep on rolling because we've gone to that next step? I don't have a real sense of clarity about that, and I think that's crucial, is that everybody knows that if it did go to this next step through the council, then at that point, and we get all the accurate numbers that we want to look at, then what happens then? I think there needs to be a little bit more of an explanation about that.
Yeah, and I don't know, Tom, if there's any clarification there you want to provide, or maybe what we could do, we'll finish the comment period and then we can have more discussion. Yeah, we're not going to have staff come up quite yet. Are there any other comments? But Jim, you already gave yours, and we can't do it twice. So
I forgot to mention one thing. Okay.
yeah,
Just
sorry.
look at the numbers, folks.
Yeah, sorry, Jim. Yeah, we can't do that twice. Okay, any others that haven't approached yet? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, I appreciate you guys letting us be here. My name is Brandon Hepworth, and I own number 11 in Cedar Hills. And I'm also the contractor that's done a fair amount of the work in the recent years. I feel like there's as much misinformation going around as there is good information. I think it's absolutely prudent that we get accurate information and we get complete information. I think what we're hoping is that if this does move forward, that the time that it takes to vet the process, to get the data on what it's actually going to cost, might also help us firm up what that pragmatically means to those of us that own property in that subdivision.
Right.
I feel like a lot of the comments that have been made are probably started with me and have been told and retold again. I'm not trying to give anybody the impression that the sky is falling. It's not an imminent, like, next week we're going to have a problem, but there are problems. And my suggestion, as we're trying to do patch repairs along the way, because we have had several mainline breaks, and each time we do that, we do it with best practices in mind. We get inspections. We've had several conversations with several people that work for the city. Ike, the city inspector, has looked at every work that we've done up there, every piece of work that we've done up there. And there's reasons for concern. But it's my advice that we find something to move forward before it becomes a crisis. I think going through this process is vetting one option. I think nobody, I can speak for myself, but I don't think that we should probably only vet one option. I think we need to continue working at other options, but I don't think we should remove any options from the table. And if this is an option that we can pursue at some point in the future, then I think we probably should move forward only to get better information. I think, you know, a lot has been talked about the kind of pipe that's in the ground. I've seen it. I was there. When we tried to drill to put a saddle in, we had about a 4-foot section pretty much shatter on us. So, I mean, it's concerning.
Yeah.
There's issues.
Thanks, Brandon. The time's up, unfortunately.
Thank
you. You know, I think council is getting a really good feel of what the issues are, and I just want to remind you again that we've had several written comments. So please, if you've made written comments that, you know, we're hearing a lot of the same comments, that just ask you to refrain from that if you've already sent written comments in, because I really would like to move forward and have, if there's a rebuttal from the applicant, if not, we could have staff come up one more time.
Molly Becerris. I live in Cedar Hills, number 15. Mayor and council, thank you for hearing all of our residents tonight and our homeowners. I'm currently the president of the HOA at Cedar Hills Condos, and I think that you can tell by several comments here tonight that we are concerned. We have vetted and looked at several different options to fix this. You guys received with our application a copy of an engineering study that was done, that reviewed and analyzed our water system and the shape and the repairs that it needs. I'm trying to sum it up for you.
Yeah, and you have 10 minutes, by the way. You're not.
Oh, I
under
do?
the 3
Oh, well, then I'll
minutes.
just
Yeah.
get my book out and read it. Just
So,
kidding.
Don't go that far.
Okay.
Yeah, the timer will
Okay.
start at 3 minutes.
I'll quit the summary. The proposal for the LID was brought forward as a viable solution. We believe that the project directly benefits the legislative definition and the intent of the Idaho Code, with explicitly, it grants the municipality the authority to move forward, if that's what you would like to do, to reconstruct and repair our water system. We really don't want to be in the business of a public water system. Truly, we're just not adequately informed, and we don't have the education to do that. And that's what we've been trying to do for years. I did notice in the informational letter that was sent and signed by Tom that it identified a different scope of work that was actually not the same as the language drafted in the resolution, section 3. Specifically, I want to formally request that the city strike out, if accepted tonight, the curbs, gutters, and, how do I say, appurtenances.
Appurtenances.
That word.
I think, yeah.
That was nothing that we requested. It was nothing that we asked for in our resolution. So I would formally like to ask that that is left out. Our private roads are already really narrow, and to provide additional infrastructure and put that in on your city road, I don't know that we have room for it. So I would ask you to look at that if you were going to move forward tonight. I respectfully ask the city's partnership and would like you to continue to vet this process. It's very important to us to, as you've heard, get to the bottom line, get the bid in, and determine what our dollar amount per month would be for X amount of years. So with that, I thank you for your consideration and your partnership and the opportunity to hear all of us tonight, really. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Molly.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Is that
Yes,
appropriate?
Molly, there's a question. Councilman Nichols.
So I'd like to understand what's going wrong with the system. How is it failing?
So I am not 100% an expert. May I ask somebody who's seen, touched, and filled it in the dirt? Is that
Sure,
okay?
that'd be great.
Brandon, where'd you go? Well, there he is, outside. So, have you guys seen the diagrams? That might be helpful, honestly. So it comes up off Bannock Highway, goes up a hill, our home's set up here, and then they come around. That is a closed loop system at that point, which is not up to city code. As we've had problems and issues along that pipe, we have brought it up to city code. But honestly, the water stops at the bottom of that, and all these homes that feed off of it are getting all the debris and all the sediment, that's the debris, and have the potential for contamination at the bottom of that. And that just happens over aging pipes. I explained that. It's all you.
Did that answer your question okay? or do you
No,
want-
not really. I'm trying to understand what's going wrong with the system. You know, technically, I mean, if something fails, what's happening on the ground?
Yeah, so, apologize. The issues that we've had of late are literally where the pipe just shears,
The main line.
the main line,
And how big of a line?
6 inch.
And code is what?
What's that?
What is the code?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
What was the
I think
recommendation?
if they redid it, I think it'd be probably done in 8.
And how often does this main line break?
I think we've had 2 in the last 2 years.
All right, and so, okay, all right, thank you.
And the other challenge is it's a private line under a city road. So every time we do this, we have to cut into the road.
Am I understanding correctly that the request here would be to replace the main line, but as is city rule, we don't touch any of the lines that go to the home? So I'm not sure how replacing a main line would help the way the water is circulating and landing at the bottom in people's homes. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, so, ma'am, the big issue with the sediment and the pressure and a number of things, I'm a plumber. Ask me a plumbing question, right? So, I mean, it dead ends.
Right.
Whereas if it was to be redone, it would complete the loop out into Bannock Highway.
And so there'd be main line that would complete that loop.
Yes,
Okay. And so the project would solve this problem by creating a loop system rather than a dead-end system?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, question down here.
Molly, thank you. You had made the comment that there were other options that were investigated or looked into. Can you tell us what some of those options were?
Where'd you go? Stand right up here and help me out. I specifically want to address the way that it has been fixed over the last, I don't know, 8 years prior to me. Do you want to do that? It's kind of technical.
Well, it's a sticky wicket, but I think to his question, we've looked at getting private funding. I think that they've been looking at doing assessments, but like Curtis said, it's a big project. I mean, we can handle the smaller isolated repairs. We can handle putting the laterals to the house. We can handle a little this and that. That is too big of a project for us to handle. So literally to try and do that, you got to find somebody from probably outside the area to come in and do the construction project.
And Councilman, I'm sorry, I was going down a whole technical rabbit hole, but truly, we've looked at grant funding. We have looked at private sourcing. We've looked at fixing it ourselves, but you cannot fix that main line without a couple $1 million. So we can fix so each row of homes has water that comes in one side and out the other, and it goes like this underneath. So when it breaks underneath the homes, we've now started doing individual lines and shutoffs to each home, which takes care and addresses some of the issues that have been brought up. We only have 3 rows that's happened to. So we've done what we can do. It costs us about $72,000 every time we have to bring a pod of homes up to date. And we've been bringing those up to code as we can. But it's the big main line that's really, really expensive for us.
So, Councilmember Nichols kind of asked this question, but where are the weak points in the system? Because I hear from one group of people, there's nothing wrong, it's never broken, I never have a problem, I'm never gonna have a problem. Then I hear from another set of people who say, I have a problem. So where is the weak point in the system that would suggest that the whole system needs to be redone or that this LID is a good idea?
So I feel like the answer to that might be the aging of the pipe. Pipe isn't made to last forever and ever and ever, as it is a little bit over 50 years old. It's just getting weak. And as Brandon stated, when he had to get in there and replace like a fire hydrant this winter, right before Christmas, we were down for like 4 days off and on with water because of the drilling he had to do for starters. And then also that pipe just kept shattering and it kept breaking and it's so brittle. And that's because pre-1970, that pipe was built differently than it is today. And the standards and the material that it's made out of are different. And so that's one of our problems. It's just a matter of time. It's like an old car. It's gonna break eventually, right?
Yeah, Councilman Bates.
Hi, Molly, I'll be quick. Part of our requirement by code is to determine how reasonable it is that the city would be paid back. So I want to know if you're willing to answer, how much reserve funds, if any, does the HOA have?
The HOA does not have reserve funds. We have operating account that has about $250,000 in it.
And the 2 breaks that occurred that you've mentioned, roughly what was the cost to repair those each time?
I think we spent about $230,000 last summer in water repairs.
Yeah, but I think only about 65 or 70 of that was the mains.
Was the mains?
Okay. And then when there is a break, it's paid by the HOA?
Correct.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. Thank you.
May I make one more point, Mayor?
Sure.
Another concern that I really want to point out is that You guys had us on the schedule to have the road repaved last summer. And unfortunately, prior to our existing board, we had a contractor who put what are they called?
The valves.
The valves in the middle of the road. And so you are unable to pave your city street until those valves get moved. I believe it-
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
And it's just, there's just a sticky wicket of problematic issues. You know, we were talking to the street department, and it's like, and he looked at it and he was like, that looks like it sticks up pretty high. What's gonna happen if one of the plows takes out that valve? And, I mean, however we got here, it's where we're at, and it's just the issue we're trying to deal with.
Right. Okay, I think we have a good feel of the technicalities going on and the problems, so I feel really well-versed and educated on the issues. You know, one thing, if you would like more, I heard a couple of comments about, you know, more lessons on how the LID works, and staff would be volunteering my staff, but we would be happy to come to a homeowners association meeting and dive into a little bit more detail about how this works. I know there's still some questions.
Mayor, I appreciate that. If we had this kind of turnout at our HOA meetings, we wouldn't have all these questions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if we could invite you to come, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you, Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to keep this moving along. Just the last, like if Tom, if there's anything, you know, kind of questions to answer or questions from council.
Mayor.
Yes.
Tom, I thought Elmer Martinez's question was on point, because I think it's unclear to myself as well. If we were to approve this LID tonight, would the next step be for people to be more informed? And then would there be another opportunity along down the line for the residents to again register their interest or disinterest in this process?
So I might need Jared or Brian's legal help, but I believe if you approve the LID tonight, you're committed to do the LID.
So follow up to the.
And just there was some questions about the price. This was a set of plans that were given to us from the Cedars. They went out and got plans done on their own, which is awesome, from A&E Engineering. And then we use those plans. It's a complete water main replacement, and then services to each unit, so it's everything. And we use these plans. We had our water department that installs this very thing or replaces these very things. They performed this cost assessment, and it's pretty close, I believe. Now granted, bidding is always, you know, could go either way. We did put a large contingency in there because you have to plan for what the bad things can happen. And then we also put in some extra money for administrative. This is very labor intensive for staff. We have to take the assessments, pay the loans, to get the bonds and the warrants that we would need to fund it. We're gonna have to get an attorney that specializes in bonds and warrants. So that's where some of those other costs came in.
Can you tell me the cost again?
$2,842,450. And that replaces an 8-inch, or puts in an 8-inch ductile iron water line that makes the loop. And then it runs new service lines to a meter, and from that meter to each individual address. So it's the whole turnkey system. That it puts in fire hydrants, everything.
Would that,
Oh, go ahead,
sorry.
please.
Would that address the valves in the road that were placed?
Yes.
Okay.
I know Connie mentioned the curb gutter and sidewalk. Could that really be pulled out as
Oh,
a
yeah.
cost savings?
So I believe when the resolution was drafted, everything was put in there that may be affected. It doesn't mean that you have to put curb and gutter in. It just means if you have to tear out some curb and gutter, you'll replace it.
So it was just replacement. We weren't adding anything new with that.
And that's ultimately your decision as the
Yeah.
council. You could.
Yeah, Councilman Nichols.
Oh, hi, Tom.
Yep.
So is the fire hydrants on this private system?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Mayor, question.
Okay, yes.
So this is procedural. So is this a binary choice? If yes, LID is locked in. If no, can it not be done again or explored in the future?
It can be definitely explored again in the future. But unfortunately, well, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on which side you're on, the LID process is very regimented and there's a lot of steps to it. And once you make one decision, you're going to the next one, so.
But once all the facts are in order and costs like really honed in on, they could come back without any time
Absolutely.
restrictions.
Absolutely, and we can just start this all over again.
Problem with starting over again is costs are gonna rise on both sides. Now, procedurally, you have to have 2/3 vote to protest for or against it, correct? And we had 2/3 vote come in that was initially for doing the LID. Have we reached 2/3 vote in opposition now?
Not yet, so, or no, because the timeline's passed. 68 votes is the 2/3, and 68 votes were received on the petition to move forward, and 64 protests were submitted. So it did not meet the 2/3 requirement to stop it.
But point though, after the fact, there was a lot of people, once they learned this, they're like, I signed it, but no now, you know, the overwhelming comments we've had.
So let's talk liability. And I know you've mentioned this before. Liability-wise, say doomsday comes and the system fails. Where does the liability lie?
I'm not an attorney, but I will tell you that the city's policy for every property owner in the city is if the service line fails on the property owner side of the meter, that is the property owner's responsibility. So if you live on a house on any street, if that water service breaks, once it's past the meter, that is completely the cost is to the property owner. Liability, I don't even want to go there. That'd be,
Well, the comment was made that because they're annexed, that we should be responsible to take care of these things. And that's why I'm asking about the liability aspect.
I don't think personally the city is required to do anything.
Okay.
That's the blunt.
So repayment wise, the repayment would go for the delineation of time in which was ever specified in the LID. And if I'm correct, it's up to 30 years, correct?
Yeah. And that term the council would set.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And just like we'd said earlier, the city's not for this or against this. We're right in the middle of this. We will move forward with whatever the council decides.
Yeah, Councilman Nichols.
I'm not quite sure who this question should be for, but we've heard several people testify that they'd like to see this put on hold for a while until we can, further refine the cost. So procedurally, how would we do that?
Are you asking me, Councilman?
So whoever can answer that.
The only procedural hold, if you will, at this point in the process is for the council to review the comments that have come in prior to this public hearing. So ultimately, if you feel like you have reviewed all the comments that have come in, it's on the council to act tonight. If you need to have more time with those comments and act in a meeting in 2 weeks, that's fine. But to procedurally hold while more research is done, based on what Tom has just provided to us and within a certain degree of accuracy that we feel confident with our numbers, I don't see an advantage to holding the petition any longer than what it would take council to review the comments that have come in.
Great, thank you.
That doesn't mean, like has been mentioned, that they can't reapply with some different information, some different requests, and have, you know, maybe a second opinion on engineering provided to us. But I would not recommend a procedural hold unless it's to review the comments that have been submitted to council.
I got it, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Tom. All right, with that, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. Well, council, this item is before you. How do you wish to proceed?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If it's appropriate, I'd like to have a little discussion about it as a council. Some points that I'd like to bring up. Just looking at, doing some quick math on it and basing this on Idaho code that we have to, that dictates how we determine this. We have to look at the financial impact of the creation and implementation of the objectives of the proposed district upon the property owners within the district. So, looking at that, using the estimate that we have, which is by my numbers, roughly $28,000 per unit at 101 units. That's $78 a month over 30 years, $117 a month over 20 years, or $156 over 15 years. And for me to put those numbers in context, looking at the city's levy rate with a homeowner's exemption, per $100,000, your property tax is about $574. So, and I'm sorry, this is a lot of numbers, but my math says that we're looking at anywhere from a 13% increase, tax increase, I would say, over 30 years, a 20% increase over 20 years, or a 27% increase over 15 years. To me, those are not insignificant increases. If my taxes went up 13% or 27%, it would open my eyes. Then looking at the estimate, because that was part of the discussion, I'll freely admit that I'm biased here, and staff knows this. I don't have great faith in government projects and estimates. I don't believe that the cost of this project would be less than what it was estimated. I would be shocked if it was, especially looking at 3,300 feet of 8-inch line plus replacing service lines. So I think the cost of this project would at least cost what has been estimated. So for me, just looking at that one section of code, I don't see any way that I can say we're meeting code, because I think this puts a pretty severe financial impact on the residents at the Cedars for a not insignificant amount of time. 15 years, up to 30 years. We could go less, but it only gets more expensive. Code also says that the district needs to be in the best interest of the property affected and the municipality. This is something I have struggled with from the time this has first been presented. I have a hard time seeing how this project I could justify as being a benefit to any taxpayer outside of the ones that live at the Cedars. And part of my justification for that, if you look in Idaho code at the powers conferred, and Molly had brought up the intent of the code. If you look at the powers of the code, items 1 through 14 of 15 items really are all public use items, sidewalks, parking. I have a hard time saying that this has any public use and is not a justification for the municipality. And we have to look out for both sides. So with that being said, my feelings on this is I don't see how I could justifiably move forward based on Idaho code.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I think it's important that folks understand why we make some of the decisions we do, and I appreciate Dakota's detailing. I agree, particularly on the public utility of this project. That's one of the reasons I asked Tom to bring up the example of a trailer park that has a broken sewer that's seeping into the aquifer. A dirty aquifer would affect everybody. It's a public good. Water service for the Cedars, again, reflecting Dakota's thoughts there, I'm not sure that that's a public good. The other reason that I'm uncomfortable with moving forward with this is that we received 64 public comments from many of you, and that is just shy of the 68 that would be needed to essentially cancel this without our vote. So I feel like those voices speak pretty loudly, and it's my job as city council person to listen to those voices and make decisions with that heavily in mind. So I just wanted to let everybody understand where my vote will be coming from.
Thank you. All right. If there are no other comments, we would entertain a motion.
Mayor.
Yes.
And maybe Jared. I'm not sure the exact phrasing here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I would move to reject agenda item number 8 for the Cedar Hills LID as outlined.
Second.
I think what you're actually doing is voting to not create the district. Is that what you're?
Yes, that is
Okay.
the motion.
I'm not telling you how to
Okay.
make a motion,
But that is the intention.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, we've got a first to reject the LID from Councilman Paulson and a second from Councilman Bates. Brianna, please call the roll.
Paulson?
Yes.
Bates?
Yes.
Mangum?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Satterfield? Yes. Swanson? Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for all your comments and for you being here tonight. We really appreciate it. Moving on to agenda item 9, short plat application, 3939 Hawthorne Road. Council may wish to approve a short plat application submitted by Chandler Jorgensen, represented by Jose Nava, to subdivide .40 acres of parcel into 3 lots. Lot 2 has an existing house on it, and Lot 3 will be dedicated as right-of-way for future expansion of Hawthorne Road. Staff finds the proposal compliant with all applicable standards of Pocatello Municipal Code with conditions.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Oh, go ahead, Councilman
question?
Mangum.
I do have a
Yeah,
question.
okay.
Go ahead, what's your question?
Jen? Do you want?
Good evening.
Good evening. One of the comments contained in the staff report indicated that there were a couple of requirements that the applicant would have to follow as part of the approval here. And the second requirement listed in the document is a recorded document deferring sidewalk, curb, and gutter improvements along Hawthorne Road.
Yes.
And as a big sidewalk fan, I wanted to make sure the public understood why you put that condition in there and what that really means for the future of sidewalks on Hawthorne Avenue, which I think would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So deferred maintenance agreements are often referred to as real covenants. And when a development comes into a community or into an area, and in this one in particular, we're splitting a lot into, one lot into 3 different lots. And one of those lots is dedicated right-of-way along Hawthorne. And in that area, there are not continuous sidewalks along Hawthorne. So what we would be asking typically with development becomes a requirement to add sidewalk along that land where needed. So in this case, because there's not continuous sidewalk, if you were to install sidewalk in a small portion of that area, it can create bigger issues having to do with water runoff, erosion, things like that. And so as a way to ensure that we would be able to ask the property owner to pay for sidewalk in the future, we'll have them sign a deferred maintenance agreement that says I'm not going to do it right now because there's not continuous sidewalk. However, in the future, when either the city has money to do sidewalk or there's more development, new development along Hawthorne, then that property owner would be asked to follow through with that agreement that they signed.
I see, thank you. So the idea is not to have just a chunk of sidewalk sitting there without any other sidewalk usefully
Exactly.
connected to it. And
Right.
then we can't get under it to make repairs, or it just causes an obstacle. But the developer will still have to pay for their portion of the sidewalk. When the time comes, we can have that contiguous sidewalk put in.
Yeah, and landowner is the way I would put it. The landowner will have to pay for the sidewalk. Yep.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would move to approve the short plat application for 3939 Hawthorne Road as outlined in Agenda Item 9 with all staff conditions followed.
Second.
Okay, we have a first from Councilman Mangum. I believe the second was from Councilwoman Satterfield. Aubriana, please call the roll.
Mangum?
Yes.
Satterfield? Yes. Bates?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Swanson? Yes.
Agenda item 10, Agreement Amendment Number 2, Approval, the Land Group. Council may wish to approve Amendment Number 2 to the agreement between the City of Pocatello and the Land Group for Pocatello Creek Interchange landscaping redesign and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review. The amendment will increase the contract sum from $112,486.25 to $142,361.25 and account for a change in scope to complete the revisions of the design plans per the request by Idaho Department of Lands. Funding for this amendment is available from the FY23 Western States Fire Managers Grant.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
move to approve agenda item number 10 as listed.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a first from Councilman Nichols, a second from Councilwoman Swanson. Aubriana, please call the roll.
Nichols?
Yes.
Swanson? Yes. Bates?
Yes.
Mangum?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Satterfield? Yes.
Okay, agenda item 11, Airport Lease Amendment and Resolution, Idaho Inline Hockey. Council may wish to adopt a resolution and approve an amendment to the lease agreement with Idaho Inline Hockey dated July 3rd, 2025, and authorize the mayor to sign all pertinent documents subject to legal department review. The amendment will allow for one additional year of $1 rent and a one-year extension to the construction start and completion dates. All other terms and conditions will remain unchanged.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would move to approve the airport amendment and resolution for Idaho inline hockey as outlined in Agenda Item 11.
Second.
Thank you. We have a first from Councilman Mangum, a second from Councilman Paulson. Before we call the roll, do we have any questions of staff? Okay, Aubriana, please call the roll.
Mangum?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Bates?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Satterfield? Yes. Swanson? Yes.
Agenda item 12, Airport Lease Agreement and Resolution, Bravo 6 Flight Academy. Council may wish to adopt a resolution and approve a lease agreement between City and Bravo 6 Flight Academy for approximately 2,600 square feet of building space for the purpose of operating a flight school and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review. The lease term will be 5 years and the rental rate will be $1,372.48 per month with annual CPI increase and full rate review every 5 years. The lease will allow for possible rent abatement and initial improvements to the facility that are required for occupancy as approved by the airport manager.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
first I want to say this is a great project and thank our airport manager for his hard work on this. This has been talked about for a while, and so I'm excited to get this business up and running out at the airport. And with that, I will move that we approve the airport agreement and resolution with Bravo 6 Flight Academy as outlined in Agenda Item 12.
Okay, second.
Okay, thank you. I hear a first from Councilman Mangum and a second from Councilwoman Satterfield. Would like to echo your comments, Councilman Mangum. I know Alan has worked really hard to, they're great tenants that they've wanted this space for a long time, and Alan has done a really great job of like kind of making them be patient and moving this along. The owners of the company have come in and spoke to me. I'm really excited with their plans, so I too am excited for this. All right, I already said the first and second. So Aubriana, please call the roll.
Mangum?
Yes.
Satterfield? Yes. Bates?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Swanson? Yes.
Agenda item 13, South Fifth Avenue Pedestrian Improvement Project Agreement and Resolution for Idaho Transportation Department. Council may wish to adopt a resolution and approve a state/local agreement between the Idaho Transportation Department and the City of Pocatello, and authorize the mayor's signature on all applicable documents, subject to legal department review. Council may also authorize the payment of $3,000 from Fund 71 to cover the state's administrative expenses, and it will be credited toward the city's required overall match for the project. The full match for this grant is covered by local nonprofit organizations.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move we approve agenda item 13, the South Fifth Avenue Pedestrian Improvement Project Agreement and Resolution with ITD as outlined in item 13.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a first from Councilwoman Swanson, a second from Councilman Mangum. Aubriana, please call the roll.
Swanson? Yes. Mangum?
Yes.
Bates?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Satterfield? Yes.
Agenda item 14, Animal Services Pet Licensing Service Agreement, DocuPet. Council may wish to approve an agreement with DocuPet for administration of the city's online animal licensing program and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents, subject to legal department review.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to hear from staff about this project.
Okay.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. My name is Liam Hughes. I'm the Animal Services Manager for the City of Pocatello.
Go ahead.
All right. This program will basically help streamline our animal licensing program within the city, creating more options for people to register their pets. It will also take away some of the overhead. So where every year we have to order a certain amount of tags from our producer, and we end up still having 2 or 3 boxes of tags left over. So this way, the tags will be made as needed. These tags also come with a registration that is held on a database that is similar to the NOMI program that the police department runs. So this can help law enforcement and animal control in the field try to make sure the animals are being rehomed or at least gotten back to their families as quickly as possible. This company also helps streamline the process where the United States Postal Service has some problems with issuing metal tags through their machines. They tend to get tore up, so all the special envelopes that you need to mail these things are now handled by this company.
When you said the Postal Service, I thought you were going to make a joke about dogs chasing the postman, but I digress.
I'll do an open mic night for you sooner or later. But.
So I appreciate you coming up and making these comments, because we got a lot of people who are passionate about their pets. They're like children to them, or extensions or whatever. And so I just want people to realize, people who are watching, to understand exactly what this process is. And it's not.
And this
just
program's growing with popularity. I've actually been in conversations with Idaho Falls and Boise that their city clerks are now looking into this program as well too, because we are the first one in Idaho that is going to be using this. We are getting waived the $5,000 setup fees to get the program up and running. So I've worked with DocuPet in the past, in a former life when I was running the animal licensing program in the state of Maine, and they were a pretty respectable company then. They're still operating now years later. So, and they've been growing ever since. So we're going to be the first ones in Idaho using it.
Awesome.
And, we're going to be able to set the example for a lot of other cities.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, would you also like to mention the cost of this? to the city?
Well, that's the good thing, that this program's going to actually bring money in. We will probably only have to pay postage for people that need reminders mailed out to them through the regular postal service. All the other costs, basically, DocuPet's going to collect the money for us, and then once a month, they'll give us a statement with who got licensed and then how much money that we're going to be collecting from it. They don't receive any money from our licensing. They make their money off specialized dog tags, any additional services that the pet owner wants to pay for, and any of the credit card fees that they charge is usually that, 30% or the 0.03% for the financing on credit cards. So usually, and that's something that most people pay on their own. So we would not have to pay any of that. So most of the money coming in for this would be going back to the city. And with the reminders that they're going to be sending out 45 days prior to the licensing being due, we hope that this will help getting a lot of reminders out, getting more people to renew their licenses, and having the option that you can license your dog off your phone or your home computer, that the veterinarians, and we can actually start working with our community partners again to actually help people with the licensing, and we can still do cash sales.
Okay, yes.
Excuse me. I think we talked about this in a work session, but I just wanted to confirm that if, say, somebody didn't have computer access and they wanted to register their pet the old school analog way, can they still come up and just buy a tag from you?
They could still come up to the shelter. We're still planning on probably doing, next year, we'll probably do a couple more pop-ups like we did out in front of City Hall this year. And again, if we start working with some of our community partners, part of the problem with our community partners was the information for the license wasn't being gotten back up to us, and there were also some issues with some payment issues that hopefully this will correct. So you can pay online with a credit card, or we can do a cash sale. So, and we can, all that information is then put in the same database, and then DocuPet will mail the tags and all the information out to the people as needed.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Brent can still license his animals even though he doesn't do stuff online? Perfect.
Perfect.
Good. Glad we're looking out for
We
Brent.
license a bird?
No. Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would move to approve agenda item 14, Animal Services Pet Licensing Service Agreement with DocuPet as outlined here.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a first from Councilman Mangum, a second from Councilwoman Swanson. Aubriana, please call the roll.
Mangum?
Yes.
Swanson?
Yes.
Bates?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Satterfield?
Yes.
Agenda item 15A, an ordinance granting Intermountain Gas Company a 20-year extension to its franchise agreement to construct, maintain, and operate a gas transmission and distribution system. Council, how do you wish to have the ordinance read?
Mayor, I move that agenda item 15A be read only by title and placed on final passage for publication, and that the ordinance be published in its entirety.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a first from Councilman Paulson, a second from Councilman Mangum. Aubriana, please call the roll.
Paulson?
Yes.
Mangum?
Yes.
Bates?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Satterfield?
Yes.
Swanson?
Yes.
And Jared, if you would please read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City of Pocatello, a municipal corporation of Idaho, granting to Intermountain Gas Company a 20-year extension to its franchise to construct, maintain, and operate a gas transmission and distribution system, providing for the use of streets and alleys and rules governing the same, subjecting the grantee to all powers of the city, setting forth the rules of the franchise and grant, providing for the right of inspection by the city of grantee's plans, accounts, and books, requiring grantee to furnish certain maps, setting forth the annual payment to the city, and the filing of annual reports with the city, requiring grantee to indemnify city and file evidence of insurance, requiring compliance with safety regulations, setting forth an agreement not to compete, reserving power of eminent domain, providing for surrender of franchise, granting right to salvage, requiring written acceptance, providing for consent to sell, assignment or lease, providing for payment of publication costs, setting forth penalties and forfeitures, separability and repeal, and providing that this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication according to law.
I declare that to be the final reading of the ordinance. Shall the ordinance pass?
Bates?
Yes.
Mangum?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Satterfield?
Yes.
Swanson?
Yes.
Agenda item 15B, an ordinance amending Pocatello Municipal Code, Chapter 15.10, fireworks regulation to clarify and improve the function of the title. Council, how do you wish to have the ordinance read?
Mayor,
Yes.
I move that agenda item 15B be read only by title and placed on final passage for publication, and that only the ordinance summary sheet be submitted for publication.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a first from Councilman Paulson, a second from Councilman Mangum. Aubriana, please call the roll.
Paulson?
Yes.
Mangum?
Yes.
Bates?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Satterfield?
Yes.
Swanson?
Yes.
Jared, if you would please read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the City of Pocatello, a municipal corporation of Idaho, amending Chapter 15.10 fireworks regulations of the revised and compiled ordinances of the City of Pocatello, 1983, more particularly by amending Chapter 15.10.030, non-aerial safe and sane common fireworks, Chapter 15.10.050, retail of safe and sane fireworks, application for permit, Chapter 15.10.100, time of sale, Chapter 15.10.110, dates for discharge fireworks, and Chapter 15.10.120, sell only at temporary fireworks stands, and adding Chapter 15.10.140, dangerous fireworks infraction, to provide clarity, create continuity, and improve the function of the title, and providing that this ordinance and the provisions contained herein established pursuant to this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication according to law.
I declare that to be the final reading of the ordinance. Shall the ordinance pass?
Bates?
Yes.
Mangum?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Satterfield?
Yes.
Swanson?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.